the Winnipeg goalposts. And Clark is through to get Taylor on the first play of the second half. Greg Clark's 7th sack of the season, a loss of 9 yards.
And John, he has really been playing like a man possessed today when he's been coming after quarterbacks. Watch, he just delays a little bit, lets the stunt take place, and see the effect of Colin Scribner. Took 2 people, and that opened the hole for Greg Clark to come in and get the sack. And you know, on defense is so much schemes like offense. One guy took 2 people, so Greg Clark can get his 7th sack of the season.
And I like your point. This really does look like Winnipeg's game for the taking right now, as Ottawa looking at 2nd and long. Troy Mills can't run underneath it. Clemens gets flagged. Charlie Clemens draws a flag.
Well, it's an interesting call. You know, the official that was like right in front of the play did not throw the flag, but 54 Al McColeman from the middle of the field did.
Pass interference, Winnipeg.
Well, I think that is, you know, it's a good call. I mean, it's interference.
Forward pass interference, Winnipeg number 48, first down.
There you go. You like the call.
Well, I think
and the replay clarifies it quite well.
Al McColeman, he's number 54. He's in the middle of the field, and he had a good look at it. It just kind of always amazes me how the guy that was right on top of it, you know, didn't call it.
Then 29 yards for Ottawa, 1st and 10. Now at the Rough Rider 50-yard line. Anderson makes the catch and grabs the first down, forced out by Damian Lyons. Anderson's 2nd catch of the afternoon. He's making his first start as an Ottawa Rough Rider today. Here are the quarterbacks thus far. McDougall 8 of 20 for 87. Taylor 7 of 13 for 96.
Kind of different numbers than we saw last night in Montreal. Anthony Cavillo again going over 500 yards.
Closing in just 100 yards here in the first half. Mills makes the catch, spinning around. Well, couldn't hang on.
Well, it's good to see John Payne's team, if they're going to use Troy Mills as an import in the backfield, you might as well use him. And, you know, they've decided, obviously, here early in the 3rd quarter that they're going to get him involved in an interference penalty attributed to his pass route. And now, again, they go to him, and he just couldn't make the catch, but at least they're starting to use him a little more.
Rough Riders have not fared well in the 3rd quarter, as indicated there. Taylor on 2nd and 10, wide open. Joseph Rogers to the end zone, can't quite make it. Evans caught up and forced him out at the 6-yard line. 42 yards for Joseph Rogers.
Now you're going to get a good look at the pattern here, and they just make a coverage breakdown. Bobby Evans let him go. He was going to do a switch, and the only switch was nobody covered him. Joseph Rogers, and to Steve Taylor's credit, he saw what happened and the mistake they made, and he found the right guy.
Couple of catches for 75 for Joseph Rogers, and now he has Ottawa set up at the 6-yard line. Taylor looks to put it up. Get rid of it, get it away. Well, he does. Into the corner, and now a marker comes down.
Well, it's got to be roughing the passer because he threw it away into an area where there was lots of people. So you be the judge, watch the end of it. Now, you know, here's a quarterback, you got to be thinking, hey, I got to get rid of it. I can't take the sack, and they're going to call Charlie Clemens for roughing. I'm sure they will. And I really do think this call is pretty marginal. I mean, I don't know. You know, unless it's the intent he hit him up in the head area. And I guess that's what they call, if you make contact up in the helmet, you're going to get a penalty.
Roughing the passer.
Roughing the passer is the call, Ottawa.
I think the officials kind of been out of sync all day today. You know, starting first 2 plays, they drop flags and just say, you know, no flag at all. And I don't know.
Dave Denal on 1st and goal to go at the 3-yard line, stopped by John Kropke. was averaging 6 yards a carry in the opening half. 9 yards a carry coming into the game.
He's had an ankle injury the last few weeks, and they're kind of giving him spot duty today, and he actually will come out now, and Troy Mills comes into the ball game, but I don't know if that ankle injury is bothering him right now, but he didn't really get off the football as well as he had earlier in the game.
Ottawa's 2nd and goal to go at the Blue Bomber 2.
Good call.
Touchdown. Steve Taylor had them all fooled.
For a quarterback that runs the football reasonably well, as Steve Taylor does, the naked bootleg down on the goal line is a very difficult play to defend, and he sold the run fake very well to Troy Mills, and as soon as he turned, he knew he was into the end zone quite easily. See there, everybody closed down, and he was in without much trouble. The key is to influence the outside person on the line of scrimmage to sell that play fake and get him to come down. Taylor did it. And after that fake, it was an easy run in.
A couple of rushing touchdowns for Steve Taylor so far this season. And the Ottawa Rough Riders score on their first possession of the second half. Taylor in untouched. It's 15-6 Ottawa.
Okay, with A and Z.
Steve Taylor had it all figured out on that last drive and ended up in the end zone carrying for his second touchdown of the season.
5 and in.
Ottawa Rough Riders with a little more comfortable edge now. Lamley's kickoff deep. Freeman Basinger. Fake the reverse, and Basinger has a nice head of steam. Crossing the 30 and out to about the 37-yard line.
I guess what Ottawa would really like to do, John, at this point is just go back in the locker room and come back out again, because every time they do that, they take it down and score. That time they went to begin this second half, 8 plays, 80 yards. They began the game the same way. They might have to go into the locker room, come back out again. That's the way they do it.
Ray Bernard and Wade Miller on the last return.
Tell you what, that's better than the Tyson Sheldon fight. There's more punches thrown right there.
You're absolutely correct. It lasted longer, too.
Sure.
McDougall has Gulliford right at midfield, and Wilhite up to make the tackle. But this one may come back.
And that's too bad, because that's probably the best throw that McDougall's made all day, and it's going to come back. 17
yards would have been the gain. This will nullify it.
Illegal block to the head area. Winnipeg number 60.
It's the center, Dave Van Conant.
Penalty. Holding Winnipeg.
Now, there's been some wild calls today. I don't know. Get close to Halloween. That's all I can say. There's going to be a full moon over Frank Clair Stadium tonight for Cal Murphy's team, I think. That's a tough penalty, because that's, I said that's probably the best throw McDougall's made all day, and all of a sudden, you made your best throw, and it's 1st and 20.
It was right out at midfield. Now they're scrimmaging back at the 27. Blaze Bryant picking his way through on 1st and 20, and he's almost back to the original line of scrimmage. Stacey Evans made the tackle, number 93. Bryant with 4 carries for 10 yards in the first half. Richardson 4 for 19.
The disturbing thing in that graphic to me is not so much the total yardage of 29 yards, it's the fact that they only tried to run the ball 8 times. That to me is the disturbing part, because it's really, you can't establish anything unless you're willing to be a little more dedicated to the running game than that.
McDougall surrounded and down. Dwayne Knight looks like he got there first, and he's celebrating.
And he should. You look at this Ottawa defense and what are its attributes. I think team speed. I mean, there's not a great deal of speed up front in their front 4, but I'll tell you, the other 8, and it starts with guys like Dwayne Knight as he comes on this pass rush. They have a lot of speed. See how fast he was around Walby? Walby didn't even know it hit him there, and that's just team speed. Tell you what, he's got lots of it. You say you always want your back on a linebacker. It's a good matchup. With this guy, you don't get in a big advantage because he's got great wheels.
Here's Cameron on third down. High. Missed the big balloon.
They're going for that thing.
Here's Ken Willhite on the return. I think Corral should give away a prize for anybody who puts it in the basket up there.
You let him have a free ride in it.
Well, they're throwing a little software.
There it is. See, right up there. They
lands it right in the basket there.
The review.
Winnipeg's Wade Miller is still chirping on the sidelines about his last special team play going against Ray Bernard.
Well, there he is right there. And I mean, you know, as a linebacker, you're not going to get a lot of playing time with their good linebacking course. So you might as well have some fun on special teams, and he makes the most of his opportunity. You know, Brendan Rodgers did that so many years for Winnipeg, and Wade Miller is going to be the next Brendan Rodgers for this team.
5'9", 215 pounds. Bit of a fire plug.
There's not a lot of neck coming out of those shoulder pads, was there?
Not very much at all. Open is Mills on first down, and the Ottawa Rough Riders move the sticks again. Garrett forced him out.
See, with Miller, you kind of go shoulder pads and head. Like there's no neck in between. There it is. I mean, he's a muscular fellow, isn't he?
Graduate of the University of Manitoba and the Bison's football program. We'll watch him closely and see if he gets hooked up with Ray Bernard again.
Ottawa, number 63.
This penalty going against the Ottawa Rough Riders.
Coach, that's foolish now. That's foolish. Get on him.
Riders are first down at the 40-yard line.
John Payne's always a safe guy to have a camera and a microphone around. He's a pretty religious fellow, and he's a pretty safe guy to do that with.
You're right about that. Other coaches have said a few things.
Yes, they have.
On the sidelines, Taylor just got it away and was lucky it wasn't picked on. Mills was the intended target. Taylor on his backside again. What did you see there?
You know, Dunstan Anderson's a guy that we really have talked about quite a bit. Trying to find him out to the side. There he is, and we've mentioned him about 4 times now, but he fights off the block of Chuck Esty here. I mean, nothing fancy, just a bull rush and keep working. That's just a good attitude to just keep plugging away, and he gets some results.
2nd and 10 Ottawa, 40-yard line. The drop play didn't fool Winnipeg. Troy Mills got the call. Angelo Snipes got the tackle.
Well, you talk about Snipes as a pass rusher. He can play the run pretty well, too. He stuck his nose right in there, made the play on that draw. You know, that's not a bad call on 2nd and 10 every once in a while, but Snipes was right there to make it. Well, he's leading the league by 1, and Malvin Hunter, 13. Carter, I believe, has 13 after last night. That maybe should be changed.
Lamley at his 25 on 3rd down Ottawa. Blocked. And the Bombers have the opportunity here. It's Bobby Evans. Touchdown, Winnipeg. Sean Graham came through to block the punt. Bobby Evans was there for a free one. Picked it up at about the 2-yard line. And that fires up Murph from the sidelines.
Recovered by Evans. Touchdown, Winnipeg.
Well, another look at the block, and boy, I'll tell you, sometimes special teams can change the flow of a game, and Sean Graham, the young rookie, 6'3", 209, stretches out quite nicely, gets the block, and Bobby Evans with the recovery.
Evans just had to fall into the end zone.
Yeah, it was a pretty easy trip in for him, but now all of a sudden, you know, Ottawa comes out, starts off well, and the special teams play with the touchdown gets Winnipeg right back in this one. Well, you almost feel like, John, this is what has to happen. It has to be either defense or special teams because their offense has just struggled so badly.
Bombers back within 2. It's 15-13 in Ottawa.
We go free.
Sean Graham Graham out of UBC has 1 reception this afternoon for 7 yards and 1 blocked punt that set up the touchdown.
And he's right in there, and he just get flagged by Michael Hendricks. He comes right up. Bernard looks out that way. Daniels looks out that way. And when your personal protectors do that, up front you've got to get a good block, and Michael Hendricks just kind of flags Sean Graham as he goes by, and that's how you get a punt blocked. It's not the 2 upbacks' fault. That's Michael Hendricks' fault up front.
The Bomber kickoff is a line drive taken by Jeff Cummins. Not a noted runner with the football in his mitts.
Tell you what, he got pretty good field position, though.
50 yards.
Absolutely correct at around the 45. Nothing very fancy, but a nice little 21-yard average on kickoff returns.
I think he'd be happy with that.
So Taylor moved the Rough Riders the last time he got his mitts on the ball. 7:21 to go, 3rd quarter.
Well, he's going to have to do it again because all of a sudden they had a little bit of a cushion. Now it's back to 2-point lead again.
Nice drive the last time. From the shotgun, Steve Taylor. As Joseph Rogers a little shy of the first down. A yard, maybe a yard and a half. We'll see where they spot the ball. Well, a little closer to 4 yards shy. The spot they got there. Thought he was a little bit closer, Leif, but it's 2nd and 4. Three receivers to the far side of the field. Dave Denal, and the first down. Awfully close. Wrapped up by Greg Clark, number 58. And again, the spot. Looks like it is a first down for Dave Denal.
And I think you have to be impressed with the job the Ottawa offensive line has done running the football. Okiki, the left tackle, does a good job on Katie Williams there, and that allows Denal just enough to get the first down. I mean, 2nd and 4, that's a tough spot to run on, and they pick it up and keep this drive going.
First down, Ottawa. Travis Anderson split to the near side, and Robert Gordon makes the catch, slanting in from the far side, wrapped up by Gerald Vaughn, 13.
And this is a good catch by Bobby Gordon. And all you're trying to do when you're out here and you're going to run the slant is just make sure you get inside position and hope that the quarterback puts a lot of mustard on the football. Taylor threw it nicely, and he allows Gordon to make the catch well before he's going to absorb the hit. And that's the key. If you're going to throw the slant as a quarterback, you better get it in there fast, and you better get it in there with a lot of velocity.
And Gordon got close enough for a measure.
You know, as a receiver, John, you don't mind going over the middle, and you don't mind going in where all the traffic is if you know your quarterback is going to give you the ball when he should. When they hang you up and throw it late, that's when you kind of lose your interest to go in there. But that was a great throw by Steve Taylor. And the stats, it's only like 9+ yards, but I'll tell you, that was a good throw.
2nd and inches. Nice play action fake by Taylor. And he should have the first down himself. Snipes made the stop.
And I like that offense. I mean, he still gets the first down, had to scramble to do it. But when you've got a free play, I think you should take advantage of it. Thought that was a heck of a good call by Taylor.
Well, they'll measure again. Perfect afternoon for football. 15,095 on hand. That's a little shy of what they were hoping for. There have been a few crowds like that in Ottawa this year. Here's how Steve Taylor has spread it around today. A little more to the right. Anything else? Couple completions over the middle, including the last one. And up for the first down. Ottawa set up at the Bomber 43. Taylor with time, and he's on target. Joseph Rogers. Good move after making the catch, too. He gets inside the 20. Andrew Henry, number 24, finally over to make the tackle. The gain, a nifty little 25.
And, John, this is a good formation for Ottawa with Joseph Rogers as the the number 3 receiver, and look at all the field he has to work with. I mean, that's a long way for Bobby Evans to have to chase him, and it's the formation that creates this. He's the 3rd man in, and that's a good scheme and a good pass again by Taylor. This has been a good drive for Steve Taylor throwing the football. But again, you know, it's the formation that creates that opportunity.
Another 100-yard day for Joseph Rogers.
He is excited.
From the Blue Bomber 18, 1st and 10, Ottawa. Taylor has it open up in front of him, and he's down to the 10. He's run the ball effectively.
And he's made good decisions, John, because initially he wanted to go up over the top. It wasn't there. He did not hesitate. When he saw an opening in the middle, he said, hey, I'm going. That's a good decision right there. He saw the opportunity and took advantage of it. That's the difference. Sometimes younger guys want to force it in and think, well, I can still throw the touchdown, but Taylor made the good decision and got himself about 8 yards.
It's hit 2nd and 2 at the Blue Bomber 10. Ottawa threatens again.
Count violation. Ottawa number 3.
And that shouldn't happen. I mean, that's 2nd and 2 down in the red zone, and all of a sudden now you're 2nd and 7. That's unforgivable.
After the great play by Taylor to get close to a 1st down.
You know, I wondered when they'd do it today, and they've done it now. Andre Bolduc, who their young, fine receiver, number 87, they brought him in their 5-pack version. I thought we'd see that earlier than now, but I mean, you got Mills in there as the lone running back and Bolduc. This is a pretty good receiving corps all of a sudden.
3 receivers to the far side. Taylor tries to buy a little time. Good race with Clemens. Looks to the end zone. Touchdown, Robert Gordon. I don't know if it was designed that way, but it works. Gordon found a way to get open. Sixth touchdown catch of the year for Gordon, and he gives a souvenir to a young fan in the stands.
And you know the nice thing about this, watch at the end of this, he's going to really outfight Andrew Henry for the football. Watch this, he comes right through him right there, uses his body as a shield. That's a pretty big catch by Bobby Gordon. That's a tough throw back across your body, across the field.
Taylor made the play. Gordon made the catch in the end zone.
Well, Bobby Gordon's still with an outside shot at a 1,000-yard season.
Coming into the game, Gordon had 824 yards on 55 catches.
Well, don't tell Bobby Gordon that there won't be a team next year. He thinks there's going to be. See, watch him use his body as a shield right there.
Fourth catch of the day for 58 yards for Gordon.
Go ahead, 702. Lamar!
Well, back-to-back touchdowns on their 2 possessions here in the 3rd quarter. First time was 8 plays, 80 yards. Now 7 plays, they go 64 yards. I mean, this is a... What is this well-oiled, high-scoring machine here?
The offense has looked rather sharp at times. Now, opening drive of the ball game, opening drive second half, there were a few moments in the first half that it was a couple of plays and gone and out. Here's Gulliford to return. And he's out near the 28-yard line. Andre Bolduc made the tackle after a 23-yard return. I don't think there's any doubt that John Payne has made vast improvements in this Ottawa football team. It hasn't translated into the number of victories that perhaps it could have, because the Riders have had some narrow misses and some games that they've kind of given away since John Payne got here. But the personnel on this football team is considerably better than it was at the start of the season.
I don't think there's any question. John has brought a calming influence to this team. There's no doubt about that.
Michael Richardson for Winnipeg. Jermaine Younger pins him after a gain of close to 5.
No, John, like anything else, I mean, I think if you look at this Ottawa team right now and their personnel, you know, this team can compete. It just becomes now the consistency factor. I mean, can they do it over a long period of time in each game over a long season? And, you know, that's always the great intangible with teams that are struggling.
And with the fragile state of football in Ottawa, I think it's really important that they finish out the season with a couple of solid performances, wins or not. Nice catch by Sean Graham. He's out near the 50-yard line. Graham has made an impact today, blocking a punt earlier that sent Bobby Evans in for the touchdown. That play, if it stands, will be marked
Major
off
foul,
at 18
roughing the
yards.
passer, Ottawa number 38, first down.
Well, Sean Graham's had a lot. There's the roughing penalty on Lamar McGriggs, but Sean Graham's had a lot of bad luck. You see that roughing? Yeah, there's no question. I mean, the ball is. Oh, that is silly. I mean, that. Yeah. You just ask. Why don't you just say, "Hey, I'm going to hit him, so get ready to throw your flag." You know, I mean, that's silly.
Might as well take it out of the guy's pocket.
Sure.
Drop it right beside your feet.
Yeah, he does push-ups when he doesn't catch interceptions. He should do push-ups for that mistake right there.
With the penalty in the game, Winnipeg set up at the Ottawa 44. Plays Bryant at the call, and he's submarined by Younger. Jermaine Younger has been solid in the middle for Ottawa today.
Yeah, it was frustrating for Younger this year. He began the season with the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and through injuries, they had him playing defensive tackle. We did a game of his, and I mean, he was
just not his spot, right?
No way. I mean, there's just not enough lead in the tank for him to play there. But as a middle linebacker, he's not a bad football player at all.
No gain, 2nd and 10. McDougall has Myron Wise, and he's wrapped up. Sure, they spot this one. I think short of the first down.
You know what, John? That's why I like Leonard Humphreys, and that's why I know Joseph Rogers is the flashier of the players here as rookies. But to me, Humphreys now all of a sudden, his guy makes the catch, but he makes the sure tackle. It keeps Myron Wise way short of picking up the first down. They're up at the top of your screen. Humphreys. Now watch this. In the open field, Wise does not go any further. All of a sudden now that's the little intangible that now Winnipeg has to kick the field goal instead of keeping this drive going. That's a solid play.
Cameron will spot it for Westwood. Good on 2 of 3. 2 dead center and 1 off the post. His first try of the afternoon. This one looks well wide. Willite likes to take it out. He's to the 5, and then lost a couple after that.
Flag on the play, penalty, so reserved.
Robert Gordon has the most recent touchdown of this afternoon in Ottawa for the Rough Riders to make it 22-13. Let's bring in Mark Buddy.
All right, thanks, John. This little guy is Austin Gordon. That's who Bobby gave the ball to. Austin, what did your father just do?
Football.
Did he get a touchdown? Yeah. And then what do you have in your hands there? All right. This is Bobby's girlfriend, by the way. Lynn, what does Austin think of football? Enjoying the game?
Oh yeah, he likes coming to the games, watching his father.
All right, sounds good. So he's got a souvenir anyway.
Oh yeah, he's been waiting for this one.
You just threw it away. He has to go get it.
Oh.
All right. Thanks a lot. We'll see you. Back to John.
Well, Bobby Gordon and the Ottawa Rough Riders will begin deep in their zone at the 3-yard line.
Yeah, and I'm not so sure Kenny Wilhite made the smart play trying to bring that missed field goal out.
Maybe he did. Sounds pretty well here because the ball breaks loose, and he's to the 32. This guy's had a great afternoon and a great couple of weeks. Final play of the 3rd quarter. Zedal brings the fans to life in Ottawa, where the Rough Riders have a 22-13 lead. We send you back to TSN Control.
boy, through 3 quarters of play, you'd look at these two teams and you'd say, which is the one that's 3-13 on the season? Steve Taylor has done a relatively decent job with his abilities. Perhaps we should say mobility, because that's been the key to Ottawa's offense, right, Coach?
Yes, I think Steve Taylor getting a chance to start and the way he's played. That last touchdown was a heck of a play by him. Bobby Gordon got open in the end zone, but for him to see him and be almost out of bounds and throw across his body like that, great play, and he's played well for Ottawa today. You know what? While we were sitting in the studio and we were watching that pass go into the end zone, we were going, pick. We were waiting for the DB or the safety or somebody, a halfback, to jump in there and grab it. Well, you know, whenever there's a scramble like that and the guy's on the sideline almost, you have to run over there and you look around, you find somebody that's coming around and you latch onto him, and that's what's taught. Right now, I think we have a rookie, or I think he's a rookie at safety right now for Winnipeg, and man, is he not looking too good for him. Andrew Henry was burned on that play. You talked poetically almost about K.D. Williams. K.D. hasn't been the big flashy man that we've seen in the past. He has not had an outstanding game for the Bombers.
No, you're right. Neither have many of the Bombers. It's quite true, including Troy Westwood. I know early in the year you kept talking about Troy Westwood being the most impressive kicker in your mind in the CFL, and I think I agreed at that point, but lately he has slumped a bit. Well, we don't know if it's maybe because he had hepatitis or not, but man, he really has slumped off a bit. Yeah, we all know how painful that can be. So 22-13, it has not been a banner game for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. They're down, but there's still a quarter to go. Let's return to our nation's capital. Here is John and Leaf. Gentlemen.
Now we'll turn up the tunes for you here. A little YMCA. Haven't heard this one in about a week. Remember when you used to dance to the Village People? You did. I did. Oh, come on. You in the leisure suits? Don't drag me down to your level now. Seems to me I remember that. No? I'll tell you what, I had the polyester leisure suit. If you ever smoked around me, you were putting me in a big bit of problem. Apparently Obi was back dancing in the studio. He's got one of those suits on today. He's still got the polyester suit. Dave Denal, not much there, averaging 7.2 yards a carry prior to that. That was his 13th carry. Through 3 quarters, Riders maintain the advantage on the scoreboard in time of possession, net yards. Well, you know, John, you look, I mean, Ottawa had the ball most of that quarter, but Winnipeg had 112 at halftime. Now they've got 149. If I'm Cal Murphy, I'm concerned. Defense has not been the Blue Bomber problem this season. Picking the most outstanding offensive player at the end of the year will be Gordon. I don't think he stayed in, or did he? Yes, he did. On the catch. Gerald Vaughn didn't think he stayed in either, but Gordon gets credit for the catch. Another 21 yards. Closing in on 100 for the day. You be the judge. I mean, initially at game speed, I thought he was in. I thought he hung in. Well, it's tough to tell there. I think he made the catch. I think that's a great call. Bobby's still trying to get that 1,000 yards, and this game's going to go a long way to helping him. That's a tough angle with the glare of the sun there, but I think he made the catch. It was darn close. Tie goes to the receiver, I guess. Pressure on Taylor, and he's picked out. This is Andrew Henry, and he may have a chance to go all the way. Henry still standing, and he'll get the Blue Bomber touchdown. He was running like a defensive tackle there. He's a middle safety. 60 yards on the return. The Bombers have another touchdown. The offense still hasn't contributed one, though. That's a pretty exciting play, but I thought he was going to run out of gas going down the sidelines there. You'll see Taylor, really one of the few mistakes he's made today. He just doesn't see Andrew Henry coming across. Now, watch this. It's like someone